So we'll run it again. Ah. Okay, so there's a bunch of games here on this. We'll start off in alphabetical order with A for agenda. And, well, normal, difficulty. It says Retrospect presents Agenda 99, 1 for normal, 2 for insane, 3 for instructions. Then it shows like a little biplane flying across the screen at the bottom and shows the best score.
Does that mean the insanity comes before the instruction?
Yes. So we'll uncharacteristically press number 3 for instructions. And Agenda 99, bomb into submission all cities that do not have a Rockstein central bank. Press B to release bombs. Now press spacebar. Okay, we're going to go with normal. Just a heads up, this is sort of like Space Invaders, but you're attacking the city. So I'm pressing the B button at particular times, and you see that the plane gets lower every time it comes through. So you can't lollygag on this. You have to knock the buildings down. You see they're getting a little close there. So I'm just pressing the B key. And this will probably end by me running into a building.
Yeah, so your round ends when you strike a building. Is that it? Yeah.
Clank.
Oh, it's one and done, huh?
Yeah.
Can
Yep.
you bomb more than one building? Can you?
You're-
It looked like you could. Drop
As with most games, you're only allowed one bomb on the screen at a time.
Alexander Haney was asking who made this game.
This is from Retrospect Games. This was either on the Atari Age, TI-99ers Facebook page, or on the Italian 99ers Facebook page. It was on one of the three. I'm sorry. My notes are incomplete because I was so busy trying to get this set up.
So this is a more contemporary game for a classic computer. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I have a hard time, Vic, believing that your notes could be incomplete. You've got more notes than anybody I've ever seen. You're the best documented guy I know.
Okay, if I drop a bomb at the beginning and it disintegrates, then I can get 2 on the screen at a time. Now this is insane level. Darn, missed. Clank. Let me turn the sound up a bit. I don't know if you can hear the sound. I like the way he ridicules you at the end. He says, play again. I pressed N for no, and the screen said the word chicken. Okay, we're going to start up an RXB, which is my favorite OS, because you can do a disk catalog and you can run either extended basic or editor assembler. Now I'll press letter B for Castle Conquer. The outer part of the screen turns black. I put that in to let you know that you actually pressed a key. So this looks like I'll press the any key. Okay, so he's got a nice border scrolling on the perimeter. Gee, Jim Peterson would be proud of that. That was a nice job on the scroll. So we'll press any key and we'll start. Here's my little guy little blue spider walking across the top of that brick across the top of the wall.
Hey Vic, your volume level's a little low. I imagine it's because you have your microphone oriented more at the monitor speaker.
Yeah, I got the mic at the speaker. And that's nice. You tried to jump over the spider and the arrow gets you. That makes it a little difficult. You got these crenellations. Gee, no arrow or spider?
Right.
Oops. It's like it's usually at. Alright, you gotta jump over the arrow. So I gotta get right into the crenellation. Oop, get right into the crenellation. That's how these games usually end for me. So that's Castle Conqueror, run and jump. And I don't know if there's a princess or anything you rescue at the end.
Vic, what is the thing on the right hand side? That long blue pole. With
Okay.
something on top.
Here, I'll start it again.
No,
Here's your on-screen character. Here's a spider.
Okay.
This is a rope, and that's a bell. So you have to jump onto the rope.
I see. Okay. I thought it was a light pole. In a small screen, it's kind of tough to distinguish.
Yeah, I'll show you there. The spider's about mid-screen. Ah, and he got me. Now jump up on the rope. And the bell rings.
I see.
Okay, moving along, we'll go to the next one here on retrospect. Okay, we've demoed this next one before, about 6 months ago, I think. Doncaster Race Course. Now, in this one, this is updated for F18. So the horses all have impertinent names. So we get to bet on a particular horse. Sunbow, Fervent, Cold Town, and Hoof Farting. So
Yeah, good that you read those off. The text is a little hot on the video, so it's hard to read.
yeah, let me look and see if I have to refocus this camera. This camera loses focus. I don't know how. Oh, it's because of the brightness.
Right, the contrast between the black screen and the bright text.
Yeah. That's why I said I'd dearly like to get a different camera and do a direct feed in. So the horses' name are 1 for Sunbow, 2 for Fervent, 3 for Cold Town, and 4 for Hoof Hearted. Which number would you like to bet on? James?
Well, of course, it must be 4 hoof farted.
Yeah. Okay. It says race length is short and press keys 1 to 4 to choose a horse. I'm pressing 4. Okay, 12 to 1. Enter your bet. I'm going to enter 100 pounds. This must be a British game or Canadian.
British.
Oh, I only have.
Yes, there's a race course in England, I believe.
I only have 50 pounds. So I'm going to bet it all. The horses are lined up and they're off.
The graphics are pretty good.
It's behind. Yeah, this is the F18 event. White arrows behind the one we got our money on. And that sign Sunbow. You are out of cash. Play again? Yes, no. Well, sure. Okay, Hal, it's your turn. 1 for Sunbow, 2 for Fervent, 3 for Coaltown, or 4 for Hoof Hearted.
Oh, I'll take number 3.
Okay, Coaltown. And we have 50 pounds. Want to bet it all?
Sure, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound.
Haha. The horses are lined up and they're off.
I knew I should have bet on yellow. Come on, number 2, whoever you are. Oh, number 1 is who I. You get anything for show? Or place? No, doesn't look like it. And they're coming around the bend in the final furlongs. Da 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 da. Blue is stretching out its lead. Oh, whatever blue is. Yellow's coming on fast. Giving it the whip. They're nose to nose. Yellow drops back and blue takes it by half a length.
The winner is Fervent. Okay.
Who won? Who won? I don't know.
Fervent, number 2.
Number 2, I won. Oh, did I take 2 or 3?
No, you were on number 3, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Whatever.
You'll probably recognize this one coming up called Freeway. This is like Frogger, and
Yeah.
there are lines of traffic, mostly cars, some motorcycles that don't show up very well on the screen, and what appears to be chickens at the bottom of the screen. So I'll grab the joystick here and see if I can get anything to move.
I guess your chicken does some flapping and flying.
Okay, this is a
Well, that
two-player.
answers the age-old question: why did the chicken cross the road? It was suicidal.
Okay, this is a two-player joystick game. I got the joystick on the left one, and I guess it's a race. You don't seem to actually lose a chicken being struck by a car, but he loses a lane, he drops down.
Death Race 2000 Poultry Edition.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg? If there were two people here and two joysticks, then you could have a competition. This would be good for kids because it doesn't, oh, your chicken died, you got to start from the beginning. This is a real nice, non-frustrating game. You can just hold the joystick up, although there is a little strategy here in trying to move your guys in between the cars. You don't get to move them left or right, but I can move them up and down. So this would be a nice arcade game for little ones where they could compete with each other, but not get frustrated about never making it to the top of the game. Some of the stuff, this is the first time I've run it.
Victor,
So it's news for me too.
sorry to come in on your meeting.
Oh, okay. Lunch is ready. Oh, you've seen me before, huh? So, that's Freeway. No thanks. So what was the, wasn't that the dog's name in that TV detective show Heart to Heart? That they found him on the LA freeways. They adopted him and named him Freeway. It's like a little Benji type dog.
Oh, that's kind of obscure. I don't even remember that.
Well, that was, who was it though? Robert Wagner, who did It Takes a Thief. And who played his wife? That was
Jill St. John.
Jill St. John. Okay. Thank you, Gene. All right. So we'll quit this. Move on to the next. I got a lot of ground to cover today. All right. This next one.
Alexander Cheney asks, are these written in BASIC or something like assembly?
Some of these are assembly. I'll show you the listing of the disk afterwards. The nice thing about this program is it can run either basic or extended basic, or it can run editor assembler. I can show you that later. This next one, Ghost House, is an interesting game. You have ghosts, and you have all these different windows, and they're lettered A to O. So a ghost appears in the window, and this is like a Hogan's Alley thing. You have to press that key of that letter to zap them. So I'm going to press the space bar. Let's go with easy. Somebody who's learned touch typing, you don't use the whole keyboard, but it tells you, gives you your score there in the bottom right corner. Again, you get the retrospect logo up in the upper right corner. So this is a this is extended basic with embedded assembly. I did a list and there's only one line. So somebody's used something like AllSafe or Bruce Harrison's assembler embedder into extended basic to run the whole thing. One line program. Okay, next one is Lego. Now this is a little strange. This is extended basic. Your S and D keys.
I don't know if anybody else is having problems, but I can't hear you.
Okay, this one is a little strange.
Yeah,
You got your S and D keys. Move this box across the top of the screen. On the left side of the screen, you've got numbered bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So if I press a 1, I've got my little cursor changes, and if I press the space bar, it drops it. Now I can press a 3, and I get a different color. So this is like working with blocks. 2. It'd be nice if there was some way of moving that block down to the bottom of the screen so you can see precisely where it's going to land. I'll try a 0. There. So this is like building with blocks. I'll do a function 4, do a list. Okay, another one-line program is all that's left. This is assembly embedded into extended basic. So we can't really screw around with it.
What's the object of the game?
Fun. You're playing with blocks.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's what the usual screen would look like.
Yeah, it's basically the Lego equivalent, sort of a freeform building game, I guess, that you can take different shapes and stack
Yeah.
them together however you like.
Yeah. I can't I can't move that cursor at the top of the screen with the joysticks. Only S and D work. I'll go back to our main menu here on retrospective. Okay, this one we've seen before, Eric and Monsterland. I had to put a note here at the bottom of my menu screen. There's a delay in loading programs G, Eric and Monsterland, and I, OXO. I put that there, and I also had the color of the border of the screen change to let you know that, yeah, you did press a key. The computer's working. It's just it takes it a little time to load. So here's our old friend Eric and Monsterland. I think Owen Brand did a demonstration on this. I'll put the microphone up by the monitor. I gotta duck the bird. Then run into the fire. Again, it's a multi-screen run and jump type game where you have obstacles you have to either duck or jump over. There is a at the top of the screen. I don't know if this is showing up very good. There's a blue witch who you have to race across the screen for bonus points. That was available on cartridge. Actually, I got that cartridge sitting here on my desk, Eric and Monsterland. We did a demonstration on that, what, about a year and a half ago? Okay. Now, this next one is actually my favorite on the disc. It's Mike Ward's Stranger. All right, I don't know how good this is showing up at home, so I'll read it to you. This is a text adventure game, and the parser is smarter than just to go north. You could tell it several things like tie rope to tree. You can get in 3 commands there. So it says, you awaken from a long, restless sleep full of strange and terrifying dreams of heat and light, then terrific cold and giant spiders. You are in a drainage ditch. There is snow everywhere. There are also several strands of long, sticky rope around you. There is a road going to the north and a drainage tunnel going down. Every other direction is blocked by high cliffs. The cliff to the south has a tree on top. So I've run through this a little bit, so I'll take you through it, but this isn't going to ruin the enjoyment of the game. Take rope. Huh. Well, it always worked before.
Try get rope.
Okay, I had a space in there. Can't take a rope. Okay, you can't take the rope. You hear a rustling sound coming towards you. I tried go down. You can't go down. Giant spiders come out of nowhere and grab you. You don't stand a chance. You are dead. Do you wish to play again? Y or N? This animation with the spiders coming down the strands sort of reminds me of Miller's Graphics Blackbeard's Treasure with the giant octopi on the bottom of the ocean that gets you. Okay, we're here again. I could swear you could have taken the rope. Okay, I was in lowercase letters, and that's why it wouldn't accept any of my commands. So I'll try again here. We've got the rope. Now I'll tie. Excuse me. Rope to T-R-E. Tie rope to tree.
Reminds me, Jim.
You throw the rope up and it securely loops around the tree. You'll hear a rustling noise coming towards you. All right, now I know the next thing is
Forgot my coffee. Oh.
well, I tried climbing the rope, but it said it got me. So anyway, this is one of those fun text adventure games where you'll have lots of fun figuring out what questions to ask and how to ask. To make a long story short, you can go down in that tunnel to escape the spiders. But then you're stuck there.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a text adventure, but it's got a little bit of graphics and sprite animation to give it a little bit more of a.
Yeah, it's got a nice border in the corners or like cobwebs and a nice font rather than just the regular TI font.
What, you don't like smaller, physically smaller uppercase characters representing lowercase?
No. Okay. I typed in down tunnel. It says you are in a small drainage tunnel which goes under the road. The far end is blocked, so the only way out is up. A giant spider is blocking the exit. I've determined at this point, if you go in this dead end tunnel, you have to waste some time. And if you waste time, the spider eventually gets tired and leaves. And then you can go outside, you can take the rope, you can tie the rope to the tree, you can climb the rope, get up to the upper level. And that's as far as I've gotten on this. But yeah, it's a nice text adventure game. With that, we'll go to the next thing on the menu. Okay, the last thing on the menu is letter I for OXO. No, it's not hugs and kisses. There we go. OXO is tic-tac-toe. This is done with regular size TI graphics characters, and the numbers of the screen are for each box. So if I press, okay, all right. So I just pressed the number of a key. Well, we'll press 5. Okay. I'll press 2, player. I'll press 6. Ah. Well, I didn't do that right. If you remember the movie War Games, the only way they could turn off that war computer was to tell it to play tic-tac-toe and as both sides, and it discovered that by playing a perfect game, nobody wins in that.
The only way to win is not to play.
Yeah, that was the only way to win. So Hal, James, you want to put in some input here on which key to press? Normally, you're not allowed to select the center square on your first move, because then you can. Yeah, because you will always
Answer the
press.
question.
You always press go for the center square, because then the other guy's playing catch up on you, and the only way you can win is if the other player actually makes a mistake.
Right. If you take the center square first and your opponent makes a mistake, you have a good chance of winning then.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're still going to probably end up in a draw.
Well, some tournaments they
Yeah,
actually have you can't take the center square on your first move.
Yeah, whoever goes first apparently um, wins automatically. John, to answer your question or your observation, I walked in to hand your mother a cup of coffee, and that's why you could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can still hear it, but it's in the other room.
Okay, we're going to go back to RXB here, editor assembler. Go to the directory. All right, so it shows the directory here of the various programs, and like agenda, anything that's got more than one file is editor assembler. So you can see agenda up here at the top is 2 files, so that's editor assembler. A castle is 3 files. Doncaster Racecourse is 3 files. Freeway is only 1 file. The same thing with Ghost, the same thing with Lego. They're only 1 file. Eric and Monsterland, that's an EA, not an EA, that's an extended basic IV254 file. And then the Stranger is a editor assembler file. So to answer your question, yes, these are some editor assembler, some extended basic, but it appears that even the ones that are extended basic, they have editor assembler embedded in them, so they run fast. So, going back to the final gram funnies, is you'll notice my menu here is a little different. First, I got the Battori software collection. Now, these were all cartridges that Mr. Battori had posted online for use in a emulator. So most of these work pretty good on the final Grom. So select A for Battori. This is from 2014. And he had the cartridges all broken up into different categories: demonstration, disc utility, education, games. The games I had to break up into files E and F, 1 and 2, because there were so many of them, they wouldn't fit in one folder on a final Grom. Language, management, modem, music, other, printer, size, system check, and text editor. So B, half of these we actually ran on a flash ROM because they were small enough files, and there were demonstrations of different computers, like Atari computer or a Commodore. Like I'll press S for the Commodore 64 simulation. All right, this is awful. It's purple letters on a medium blue screen with a purple border, and it's the Commodore 64 Basic version 2. And this just shows the title screen. That's all it does. It doesn't really do anything. It's just an emulation of the splash screen. So we'll quit this, go back, press the red button on the final Grom, get into final Grom, go back to Battori. Press the wrong key here. A for Bittori. So B for demo. Some of these were face, fingertips, font sense, fuel of parsec. A fuel of parsec, somebody came up with a different display for parsec of the fuel line. Now, the regular parsec fuel line is the one at the top, and he wanted to have one that was wider and was color coded. It says, "Hello, everybody at Yahoo. Above you see the original fuel of parsec, and below there are a few proposals for a new tribute to parsec. Let's hear what you think. The colors for the proposals look best in Win99 4A. The colors of classics are very similar to those of MES. Also, this present font could be used on intervening screens between levels when loading from disk, as proposed by Mark. Done by Sometimes Software." Too quick. I'm pressing buttons a little too quick here, not giving the final gram a chance to reload. So disk utilities, okay, we had Action, Adventure, Ballroom, Blitz, Binary, Bitmap, California Nights. I think that was the one with the nothing huge to this one, just trying out an easy scroll. The scroll seems to be rolling to the left. Actually, it is rolling up. And so it's so much easier to have a scroll roll up. No need to shift bits, just have bytes. The character patterns was conceived on the Amiga 2000. So all these demos are pretty short. There's nothing really long to them. C was asteroids. Okay, he calls these asteroids, but this is an animation of sort of like uniform wedges. And they're all rotating clockwise, and it creates an interesting pattern as it goes across the screen. Sorry. I'm not giving the final gram enough time here to reset. So now we'll go down to C for disk utilities. There's a lot of demonstrations there, but they're all very brief and they're all pretty much like that. Okay, 5 disk utility. Unfortunately, anything longer than a certain length gets clipped. So I'll press B here. And B is actually Disk Manager 1000 or Disk Aid. So here's all your favorite GM Disk Assembler. Press D, Disk Catalog Utility. I'm pressing A to get back again. Disk Copy Utility. Disk Manager 1000. Press A. D for Educate. These are all from 2014. B, Addition and Subtraction 2. C, Addition and Subtraction 3.
Are you going to show some of these things again?
I could go through them, but
Well, just a couple. Pick some at random to show, rather than just names.
Yeah, why don't you give us an example of what you think is a pretty good demo?
yeah. Some of these don't work. As Mr. Bittori said, he set them up for use with an emulator.
Okay.
So for games, 4A Flyer works fine. And we demonstrated this a couple years ago when we were going through all our flight simulators. There we go. Again, it shows an instrument panel. You need the docks to run this one, if you remember, for throttling up your engine, adjusting your elevator up and down, raising your landing gear. If you go over 100 miles an hour with your landing gear down, the plane explodes.
Yeah, that's typically the case in some of the better simulator games. You almost need a flight training course to take the flight training course, right?
Okay, I picked our gear up. Altitude's about 400 feet. We're still climbing. We could probably throttle the engine down a bit. And that's your artificial horizon in the middle of the screen. A pitch is 0. We're headed steady. A compass heading 000 at about 125 miles an hour. I'll bank a little to the left. You can see the compass heading is changing, 340. And there's our turn and bank indicator there on the right there under altitude. Yeah, so this was always interesting. But yeah, I remember that with SPAD 13. Okay, I'm going to quit this one. Again, with the final ground, which is very well recommended. Once you select the file, it stays there. There's 4A Flyer on your main menu screen until you turn off the computer or take the cartridge out. So we can go back to Vittori, go back to games, 5-card draw, amazing, adventure, Airwolf, aliens. There's a whole bunch of, you always like the, now that gave credit, conversion credited to Terzi. So this must be a extended basic or assembly game that he converted to the cartridge format for the final ground. $9,900 Breakthrough, copyright 1984 by Clint Pulley. Select the level, lazy, normal, frantic, or impossible. Let's go for lazy.
Works for me.
Yeah. These breakthrough games are all sort of different. Some of them, if you hit the ball with the edge of your paddle, it will bounce back in the same direction. And some of these games are just perfect reflections. It doesn't matter where on the paddle the ball hits, it will always bounce back at the same angle. Yeah, I imagine you hit it with the edge. It bounces back. Yeah, see if like a breakthrough game. So I've played this before in extended basic, and it's a fun game. It plays like breakthrough. You've got 2 levels of bricks here. You break through this first series, and you've got a second one up at the top there. Gives you your best score. Tells you how many balls you've got left.
Always good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think George Papard got to deliver that line. In a movie called The Big Red One, where they're fighting World War II, and one guy triggers a bouncing Betty that pops up the waist height and explodes. It doesn't kill him, but it cripples him. And George Papard's character is going through the rubble and the damage, and he picks up a small spherical object, looks at it,
Looks like you can
tosses it
stop the
away.
smoke once you get it between the two layers.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Right.
If you can finesse it and make a tunnel to get between the two areas, then it works for you. You don't have to break absolutely every brick. Well, now some of these games are perfect. Like, what is it, Hal? I think it's your favorite arcade game, Zero Zap. You just push the
Zero
button.
Zap. Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
Just press the button and it does all the work for you.
Mhm.
If I'm not lazy.
Yeah. Well, with that, it's perfect. The ball reflects exactly the same after it hits everything. In some games like this, you get the human element in it. And sometimes I think that they don't do perfect math on some of these games, so that doesn't happen. Otherwise, you would always have one brick that you could never hit because you always bounce the ball in exactly the same way. I've really never made it this far on this game. I wanted to go through a bunch of these different games and show you what's available.
Well, you'll have your high score immortalized on YouTube.
Yeah.
Actually, at this point, I'd like to see this thing all the way through. And normally, you know, oh, that was close. If you go to a second ball, if you miss one, does it then reset the bricks or not? Because that would be very annoying. Or can you actually get everything? Can you knock everything out?
I think you got 6 balls to do the screen. Now you might be able, you might be able to. Some of these games, they're all different. Some of them, you get an extra ball or an extra player for so many points or so many thousand points.
Don't lose it. That's it. Oh, there you go. Wipe out the whole row. Oh, yeah. Go inside there. Oh, thought you were going to go up top again. Yeah, I know. It's frustrating, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah, but notice how fast that responded. Most games you get close, and if you don't have your paddle there before the thing starts coming down, it just doesn't move or it doesn't sense it.
Don't go too far. There you go. You're getting there.
Yeah, this might be one of those where it takes you half an hour to
get.
Yeah, the last one is going to be the hardest.
To get the last couple bricks.
Yeah, that's why I said he's either using rounding it off or something. I don't know his exact technique, but you don't get a perfect mirrored reflection out of this. The ball will go to different positions.
Well, you're close. You're close. Very close.
Well, this is on easy. This is the slow. Oops. I lost one.
Well, at least it didn't reset the whole screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be annoying.
Yeah, I like those games. Earth was destroyed. Play again? Yes, no. There we go.
Oh, you're up there. You got it, I think.
There you go.
Okay. And you get rewarded with another playing field. So there's the high score. It's the best I've ever done.
Yeah, isn't that the normal way? After toiling for time, you're rewarded with more toil.
You know, it helped people a lot on video games is when they came out with VCRs, so you could record a perfect game and actually prove it to people. You know, here's my perfect game. And
It's like getting that hole in one in golf when you're playing by yourself just before dark, you know, and there's nobody
Uh-huh.
else on the course, and you hit the perfect shot and no one sees it, or you catch the 32-pound koi or something, you know, and then you
Yeah.
have to let it go, but you go back, you tell the story, and everybody goes, yeah,
yeah,
okay, sure.
yeah. I think I saw a cartoon somebody drew. It was Gumby telling a fish story, and of course he could stretch his arms like 8 feet apart. All right, here's the part two of the games: indoor soccer, interceptor, jawbreaker, jumpy, jungle, Junkman Junior. Oh, I love Junkman. That was a great run and jump. Kaboom!
I've got a question, John. I see you twice on screen here. How do you do that?
I've got two computers running.
To what?
I have two computers
Two
running.
computers, one capturing and
I see.
encoding, and one that permits him to participate.
Yeah, one to hear the real time, one to hear the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Yeah, this one, the second one's the mic actually. That's the reason why I need it.
Okay.
Whereas I have two sessions going. One is basically connected to the video output of TI. Don't know if I'll do anything on it today, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let me know if another guy wants to jump on and present. So
We have a little extra time today, I guess. I mean, we're not in any particular rush, so.
Oh, who
I've
needs
got,
the room
stuff to
after
do,
us?
too. Yeah, nobody's in the room after us unless we get a home invasion or something. You know, anything's possible. This is America.
it's almost time to feed the meter.
Yeah.
Well, we're still on the Batory letter. Letter A here, the Batory cartridge collection. This is from the 2014 giveaway disc, and it was a big collection of cartridges that he said would run on Win 99. So let's go to G for graphics. Okay. Yeah, this is our problem. You only have like an 8-letter file name permitted for a folder. So if I press B for what says graphi ... one, it's actually graphic editor. So C, GP1000, and paint and print set up for the GP1000. D, paint and print for the GP70. And E is video graphs. Oh. Yeah, so this is the Video Graphs demonstration cartridge from Texas Instruments. But we got a little ground to cover here. So that was A for Batory, that was graphic, try H for language. Now I could put all these files just like right in one folder, and then you would see their names. But I left it this way because I wanted to keep everything in alphabetical order. So let's see now. B, ARC is editor assembler. I'm going back and forth here. L, Graham Cracker Extended Basic is L. Q is Mechatronic PS. I'm not quite sure what that is. I've never run that. S, Easy Bug and Mini Memory. So yeah, the Final Gram is great. You can get these at Arcade Shopper when they're available. And one SD card, and it's got everything on it. Mini memory. Here we have RXB, various versions of it. Super Extended Basic, TI Logo, TI Logo 2. So we'll go back. That was languages. I for management. You have the 99ers Home Century that use the the X10 modules. You had those at Radio Shack. Accounting Assistant. D for Activity Accountant. This is like school type stuff. E for Attendance Recorder.
Yeah, that was the set for teachers. I think there were 8 or 9 different programs in there that that told to teachers, and you could get a teacher could take care of all her class attendance, all of her tests, and everything else. Everything that a teacher needed would be in that set. I actually copied that for a woman who was a teacher. They had a TI-99, and she used it. And then she gave up teaching and got a different job. So I don't know what happened after that. If she gave it to somebody else or what.
Hey Vic, did we just lose your audio?
This is this. I had my microphone off. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Going through stuff here. This is in music, but this is what I meant about stuff getting confused. Like letter C, music M is I select, and here under Music Maker, where for some reason he put Microsurge in here under music. And while I like Microsurgeon a lot, D, music SDA, E, songs. I don't know what songs they have. Card conversion by Terzi. All right, this is nice. You get into Christian Christmas music here, and you have 1, 2, 3 at the top for Silent Light, Angels from the Realms, and Joy to the World. So
Yeah, when you get a chance, Vic, let us hear the speaker output because we can just very faintly hear it.
Well, I've been putting the microphone up by the TI, sorry. So this is 1, Silent Light. I'll press 2 for Angels. Yeah, so this program is nice because it actually shows you the keys on the piano that are actually being played for these 3 Christmas songs. Reset the computer. So L for other. Here's some more of your school stuff, Hal. Is the class data recorder program. Okay, Bill Gasco like this. The database management programs, DBM entry, report, setup, and sort. D is G. Peter Hotties encode it. E is editor, assembler, and maximum. Yeah. It's not a demo until I have to turn the console off at least once. M for printer, and you have catalog library with Okidata printer. I guess these print out automatically. Catalog library with Epson printer and printer setup. Go down to N for science. B for CAO, I have no idea what that is. C for physical fitness. We've done physical fitness here, where we had to do sit-ups and jumping jacks. Cassette. Some of the stuff is the first time I've gone through this, because there's just so much here. TI Tyler. Weight nutrition, we've demoed that. O for system check. Okay, these are usually pretty good. B for diagnostic tests. Let's run that. Okay, diagnostic tests. There's nothing wrong with your set. It has turned the screen green. 1 for automatic tests. For checkerboard test. So it's testing the video. So it checks out various facets of your the computer's built-in RAM. Here's your half-bit map mode. Text mode. It's checking math functions. Okay, I think it's just going to loop through here. I'll quit this. Reset the final ground. So you can see the Pittori as a system check. Keyboard test. Somebody I find on the TI99ers Facebook page was asking if there was a way of testing the keyboard. And I've seen like half a dozen different programs that'll do it. Card conversion by Terzi. Okay. So this shows in white on a blue background, keyboard joystick test version 1. I'll press the number 1 key, and it shows you the actual code it's outputting. Press the Q key. Press the space bar, the right function key, the alpha lock, down, up, control key, shift key, period key. I'll move the left joystick here. Up, down, left, right, fire button. So this is a nice keyboard diagnostics. A lot of people are having problems with the original keyboards on these. So this is a nice way to test it out. And to quit, you got to do a control function equal. Because you can do a function equal here. You can do a control equal. So you got to do control function equal to quit. Yeah, so having diagnostic tests is always nice. It's, you know. And D is the peripheral test. Let's test, haha. Boy, I have no idea. Okay, we just went single site, single density on a nano PEB. And let's look at the head step times. For drive number 1, it was 15, 2, 3, and 4. 3 was 6 and 4. Okay. Do a back. And 7, display the motor speed. The motor speed on my solid state nano PEB, it says here, it's between 294 and 306 RPM. The measured speed is 0. Well, that's not surprising because we don't really have a motor on this. Yeah. Okay. I'll quit this and we'll get down to the meat and potatoes of this for you, Hal. Here's the Bittori cartridge collection. And here's letter P, text editors. So B, we have desktop publisher. C, we have the TI writer in French. D, mini writer. E, oh, this is every language on TI writer. Processor de texto, texti TI, TI Scrida. Is it the Scandinavian? Swedish? I don't know a lot of these languages here. We'll go back. F, more TI writer type stuff. G, more H. Okay. So it seems to have duplicates in a lot of these text editors. So that's about it for the Bittori collection. Now we'll go down to N for new files. We have Activity Accountant, Disk Manager 1000, Disk Repair, Disk U, Lines, Milton Bradley Games, Rectag, Seahorse Demo, Sprite, Star Voyager. If you ever want to card conversion by Terci, here's our old friend, Disk Utilities, version 4.12 by the late John Birdwell. Still has the Fairware display on it. Press enter to continue. This you can man, it either just okay. It's not seeing the there we go. There it goes. We did a catalog of the files on disk number 2 on the Nano PEB. Do a quit. And as usual, here it is as a cartridge. I'm not sure I like the white on the red screen, but boy, it's sure letting you know that you're there. If you go with 2 for Disk Manager, you can initialize the disk, you can copy a disk, validate it, reset it. 3 for Disk Utilities, Disk Report, Directory Comment, Find a String. Find a String is especially handy. Drive 1, starting sector 0. And the string I want to find is rope. ASCII. And you might go, why do I want to find? Okay, that's not quite what I wanted to do here. Gee, I just did this the other night. 4 for sector utilities, 1 for edit a sector. Drive 1, drive sector 0. Okay, and you can go with ask. Okay, I'm going to mess this thing up yet. What I want to do is show you how using disk U, you can search for a string on the disk. Like I wanted to search for rope because I know that would be in the file for stranger. And then once I know what sector that's on, I could actually peek in that sector and all the following ones and see what all the words are in the vocabulary for that game and not be playing the thing blind. I don't really want to mess up this disk. So let's go back to new files. So for 2020, these are some new games. We have Moonbase Alpha, the Obstacle Course game, Pango, and TI Pong. The Pong was by Francisco Uga. He did TI Rex not long ago. This is played with the keys. So E and X move player 1, and then 0 and comma move player 2.
Oh, I remember a game like this.
Yeah.
I must have spent $10 playing this in Hamburg one night.
There we go. Again, he's got this set up pretty nice where if you hit the ball with the edge of the paddle, it reflects it at an angle. Again, you've got the problem with the TI is the paddles here will move at a fixed speed, and you've got a compromise between moving the paddle and accuracy. Where the advantage the
We're losing
Atari
your
had.
video. We're losing your audio again, Vic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we
Can you hear me? Okay. It's
Yep,
hard to hold the
now.
microphone and operate both keys on the different sides because you can move your. Whoop.
I must have played this game 45 years ago in an arcade in Hamburg on the Reeperbahn while a friend of mine was busy upstairs, if you know what I'm saying. But I must have played 25, 30 games of this on an arcade machine. And it must have been, let's see, we came back to this country in 78, late 77, December 77. So it must have been about, 76 or so. That's what, 44 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world at the time. I thought it was really exciting.
Yeah. There's actually an episode of The Simpsons where the aliens land and they proudly present to Bart Simpson that we've taken the game of table tennis and replaced the ball and paddles with light. And Bart's ridiculing them like, ha ha, you invented Pong. That's such a lame game. We did that a long time ago and the aliens are getting all pissed off. Okay. We're going to press letter D here for Atari Age. Now, this is all the stuff I got off the Atari Age site when they listed a bunch of cartridges. So here you can see Amazing, Adventure, Alpiner, Aperture, Archiver. How did Archiver show up here? That's not a game. Well, anyway, Castle Camelot, Car Wars, Disc Manager 2K, FB4.
That's not a game either.
Yeah. The net browser for the Nano. Net browser RS-232C. This is all what I got off of the last time I downloaded stuff off of Atari Age.
We need
Video
we
just
need a
for-
new directory. We need a new directory with all the games, all the all the programs that exist now. We need to somehow have some kind of a listing like that, like the Fairware list, like the Altman list,
Mhm.
and
I've-
because there's so much stuff that we don't, well, maybe that you know about that I don't know about. It would be nice to be able to locate when we want to. But if you don't know what's out there, you can't use it.
Yeah, I get your point. Here they've actually taken the program identifier, card conversion by Terci. This runs clean. I've had versions of identifier that don't. Press any key to continue. Identifier 1989 by Mike Dodd. 1 to catalog a disk, 2 to configure the program, and 3 to quit. We're going to go down to 2 to configure. And you've got your menu here where the box on the right shows you what disks you can configure this program to actually catalog. So this will go disk 1 through 4 is selected, and WDS1, which would be a hard drive, is selected. This will go to disk 9. In the lower left corner, your printer name, PIO. Foreground color 2, background color, so you can change that. We'll go back. We'll catalog a disk. You can move up and down with the function key and the E and the X keys. Press enter. And it says there's nothing there. Because if you remember, I stepped on that first sector with disk U. So it doesn't know that that disk is there. We'll catalog a disk. Go down to 2. Okay, it reads through it. Now this looks a little scrambled, but this is rolling across. Now with my old 80 column device, this screen went to 80 columns in this window, and it was great because everything ran across in one line. But this is the first file, 02/2011. It's a 4-sector DV80. The name of the program is Remind Me, and it's a data file. The next one is ARC303G, 34-sector program, 8192, that's the type. Editor assembler run program file, EA5. And then browse 12 program, basic or extended basic program. So this program is real nice because as you ran through it several months ago, trying to identify if something is a text file or if it's a program. I think you were trying to run catalog and it was a text file. And a lot of the TI user group disks catalog is a program that runs. So again, using function X, we can go down and see every disk, every file that's on this disk and what they are. And exit. So Identify is a handy program to have.
I think Bruce Harrison, or was it Mickey Sendrowski, also had versions, something like this, similar programs that did exactly the same thing, that told you what kind of a program was on what kind, on a disk, and identified it, and had some extra features as well, as I recall. It's been a while since I've used it.
She also had the Loadmaster program, didn't she?
Yeah, Loadmaster. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to.
Bruce turned out something that was very similar,
Mm-hmm.
and also worked very nicely on, if I recall correctly, on SCSI drives, and gave you a lot of information.
Okay, we're going to shift gears here. And since a lot of people have the Final Gram cartridge emulator. A lot of people can get this rather rare cartridge. But I have to. I got to reset the machine here. We're going to press H for device. And we're going to go down here to S, Mechatronic Extended Basic. This was developed in Germany. And it just looks like a regular Extended Basic. If I quit, you get this. Instead of TI Extended Basic or Rich Extended Basic, you get the Mechatronic Extended Basic. So now I have to change floppy disks in my drive, so bear with me here. Okay, so call unmount removed the disk from virtual drive number 1, and call mount puts into virtual drive number 1 floppy disk 487 out of my compact flash card. All right. We're actually going to quit for a second here. Actually, didn't have to do that, sorry. Press H for device, S for Mechatronic. I keep all my utilities on disk 3 on the compact flash because that's seldom used by anybody. Okay, so here's the utilities menu that came with my compact flash Nano PB. Look familiar? Yeah, this is what I rewrote for the load and run menu for the retrospect collection. So here we've got Archiver, Boot, Compact Flash Manager, DM1000, Graham Cracker DM1000, a GIF viewer, all the stuff that came with the compact flash or the Nano PB. We're going to select boot here. Now we're in the boot program. Now the advantage of boot is you can put this on all your disks and you can edit it by pressing function 5, and you can tell it what program you want to run from what disk. And so this will save you a ton of time, because if you save the its own load program, then load will run boot, and then boot will run a whole variety. This is page 1. Let's go back. Press the space bar, you're on page 2. Press the space bar again, you're on page 3. Press it again, you're on 4. So we're going to do a 1, do a directory of disk 1. Now the reason I loaded boot is it's got a built-in text editor. So the first thing up there at the top of the screen is a -readme file. It's DV80, that means it's a text file. So I'm going to press letter V for view, that highlights it, and then enter. And here's the text file that's there. So it describes Mechatronic Extended Basic 2 Plus demonstration disk, how to use. The files on this disk are taken from the examples in the Mechatronic Extended Basic 2 Plus manual is supplied by CAD Electronics. I have the psych. I don't know if I got the Mechatronic Extended Basic 2 manual. It's probably there on the psych. All example programs in the manual are in a numbered section. This number has been incorporated into the example file name, example. In section 3.41.3 of the manual, there's an example program called Star 1. The disk name of this program is numerals 3413 star numeral 1. This lets you correlate the file name with the section in which the example appears in the manual. Almost every example program requires you to enter call ApeSoft in immediate mode before loading the program from disk. If you do not do this, you will get a syntax error in the first graphic statement. If that happens, enter the call apesoft and then load the program again. We hope you enjoy using the Mechatronic Extended Basic 2 Plus with PC99. Please note the shareware agreement on the last page of the manual. We'd like to thank Charles Good for bearing the brunt of keying in most of the programs. If you find any errors in the programs of the manual, please contact us and we'll try to issue a correction. Thank you. CAD Electronics. All right. That's the end of the file. And we can do a C for Mechatronic. And whoops. I've noticed a lot of these high-powered extended basics like RXB and this one, from boot, you can't go to them directly. And I had asked Rich Gilbertson himself about that, who wrote RXB, and he said some people do not write their loader programs correctly. He was rather miffed about that. But here we'll do a call. Okay, so that loads in a routine. Now I have here a list of the programs that are on that disk. So I'll just type them in by hand. Well, disk 1, 2073 MOVDIS. Now we can list it. And in the REM statements, it says what it is. Move disk. Moving display. Line 120, call clear. Line 130, call vpoke. Display at, move screen segment. So nothing really there really looks strange. There's no new commands or anything.
Vic, we can't hear you again.
All right. Okay, I guess I have to be pretty close to this microphone for you to hear me. So it's scrolling across the screen. This is the power of Mechatronic Extended Basic 2. So display at, move it, display at. Okay. So if edit line 150, and run it. There you go, Hal. You always said you wanted to have your name scrolling across the screen. So,
That's my only skill, actually.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
computer.
So this is the program that you've always wanted. And
It's actually
no.
not a bad scroll effect.
see, it scrolled up, and then it's off the screen now. I don't know if it's going to come back on the bottom or not. So this is a small routine they have called move display.
Interesting. There's so many neat things a computer can do that I can't remember how to do any longer.
Okay, here's a sprite
So-
display. So they have
We're having a memory refresh problem.
Yeah.
So
So they
they
have
32K cartridge.
okay, so they have some sprite displays here, and here's some new new command. Call sprite off, call sprite on. So this is new to Mechatronic Extended Basic. Call all set. Okay, I press the space bar and it starts, then it stops. Press the space bar again, it starts, then it stops. So this is a display of the sprite motion on and off. Okay, this is a spiral. Okay, here you see some new unique to mechatronics. Line 120, call link graphic, call link window, call link set to, call link move, call link turn. Let's run this. Okay, I don't know how well that's showing up. It looks like it's showing up pretty good. That's all it does, is that draws a square spiral. Where like logo, it uses simple commands to increase the size for each wrap. So a lot of these are just simple demos. Let's do a full disk 13103. List. Okay, again, it's doing that unique command. Line 120, call link graphic, call link window, call link circle, call link window, call link set column, call link invert window. 27 lines, not very big. So what I sort of like here on the mechatronic, now see how it windowed there. It
Yeah,
drew
that's
that
kinda
circle,
nice.
drew the circle once and it windowed it. What I like about this is I've used a variety of graphics programming languages. I think from Tiger Cub had one called G. It was just the letter G, like in George. And it was called the G programming language. And it was very precise because every statement, it was like a call point. And you had your X and Y command on what precise row and column you
So
wanted to put
Vic,
your.
with this, is this using an existing version of Extended Basic? Is this an extension, or is this a total re-implementation?
This is the German Mechatronics cartridge that I don't know the history of it. Maybe somebody else does. Was released quite some time ago, but it was rare. Well, now with the Final Grom 99, anybody can have this. So I can see where people could not. Now, this might be old hat to some folks listening, like, oh, Mechatronics, that's old, or something like that. But it's new to me. I've used different languages like the Mayark Extended Basic 2 that Mayark had. They had an Extended Basic. It was called the 128 KOS. Because if you had the Mayark memory card, you could partition it for up to 128K of memory. And the Mayark Extended Basic could use that 128K. And then you had a graphics capability as strong as this. You could call a point, you could draw a line, you could draw a circle, draw a box, you could fill a window. It was a lot of fun.
Mechatronics, Jim, was a German company, and when they went out of business, I remember we were still meeting at Hank Ellerman's house in his basement after the TI meeting, which was, I guess, in those days we were at the Brickyard Mall. We may have been going. Yeah, I guess we were at the Brickyard Mall, and maybe we went down to the.
Yeah, I know they had meeting rooms
Yeah,
in
down
the
the basement. But
employee
anyway,
area and things.
we went to Hank's basement, and Mechatronics announced that they were going out of business and they were having a sale. So we purchased hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, but because we were concerned about customs bringing in so much stuff at once, basically they had a chip burner. There was a very good chip burner, and it was very inexpensive when they were going out of business. Everything was like 30% of what it had been. So we ordered a bunch of stuff, but we split the order into three parts. Well, the first box came in, and everybody would put in their order in the first box, got what they had ordered, or at least most of what they had ordered. The last two boxes um, never arrived because they went out of business before the order was completed. And
Yeah, they probably ran out of any sort of funding to ship anything internationally at that point and essentially shuttered the business before delivering it, the last items. Hopefully the club members weren't out too much money as a result. Hopefully they got a refund on things that weren't delivered.
Okay, this is called Randlin or random line. Now watch this pattern
They
very
had,
carefully. Every time you run it, it draws the same pattern.
Is that because it's using the same seed values in the random number generator?
Oh, for sure. I've run into this before, like I said, with some of those enhanced graphics programs like
Right.
Lyrex.
Can you get in there and alter the starting seed value to get a different pattern out of it?
Well, let's see now. Line 100, rem, line 110, rem, line 120, calling graphic. Okay, that puts it into
But of course, that's a
graphics.
reminder to everyone that some of these early random number generators are not so random. It's basically
Okay,
random like, but if you stick the same seed value into them, they generate
Yeah.
the same output.
yeah, I've run into that before. Well, here we go. Calling, calling window. Okay, temp integer random times 16. So 220, 124 times random, 230, x and y, 120 times random. Yeah, so you could probably put in a, what is the thing for a seed generator anyway?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the TI used to alter the seed value. There might be another argument to the function is how some other basics did it.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, I probably have. Well, I do have an extended basic manual here, so if it's similar, or someone who happens to be watching us is in chat, could probably give us some information.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to show that the Mechatronics Extended Basic 2 is available easily on the Final Gram now. And there are a whole bunch of these are just example programs of for graphics that you can do. Now, most people have probably seen the Tiger Cup disc with the ApeSoft demo, and it showed the clock, and it showed a bunch of graphics and things like that. Some of these, boy, I hope this is still working. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stop the machine and restart it.
Yeah, so the rand function RMD states that the sequence of the random numbers returned is the same for every time the program is run, unless the randomized statement appears before in the program. So you probably have to do the randomized statement. Which, let me see what the
Yeah, I remember that. Bruce Harrison, and who was a master at the random number generator with his card programs, where he would go every time you played the cards, it would shuffle the decks, and it was a good shuffle. And when you drew a card, it was smart enough it knew you had taken one out of the deck. Some of the games, like the Texas Instruments Blackjack, I would swear that the computer cheats because I go to I go to draw a card, and I bust, and I stand, and the computer draws whatever card it needs to beat me. And then when it gets down to half a deck, it reshuffles.
Yeah, so it looks like if you wanted to make have that program generate different results, you would just insert a randomize command in the basic program somewhere before it starts generating random numbers. And then you can actually, I guess, physically set the seed values. So if you want to actually see what the output is for any particular seed value, you could do that too.
Okay, that one doesn't seem to work. We'll try another one. I can list them. Okay, here it goes. Call link star, graphic, window, right, set column, set turn move. Boy, it sounds like logo.
Yeah, it's a very logo primitive like in the call interface, huh? Is that the missing link?
No, although I have demoed the missing link several times.
Well, I just happened to notice it was doing call link, and I don't know if that is reference to missing link or if it's, linking some other program.
It's linking to something you don't see on the screen.
Okay.
When you do that call ApeSoft, it's I believe it's loading in the graphics library.
Yeah.
So you can do this. Otherwise, you're pretty much just standard extended basic.
Yeah, right. That's the nature of a lot of basics on different older platforms that really basic didn't really specify, graphics capabilities very well.
Yeah.
So they're all a little different.
Yeah, because here's your call link graphic.
Yeah.
Call link window, call link right, call link set call and set to turn to. It does it all with calls.
Yeah.
Let's run that again. Yeah, so none of these is really a complete program or a complete game or text.
Right, they're just a demonstration of what you can do with the graphic extension, I guess. Some programs and procedures provided.
Mm-hmm. So, the missing link is good. Because where it does all those windows, who else did stuff like that? TI Artist had a lot of missing link in it for the graphics displays. Okay, this is called Thread. So calling graphic, window, then down to set to, move to, set to. I guess we got to feed a parking meter.
I think if this was the actual library, you would be already have your ticket by now if you didn't feed the meter. Maybe someone should write a feed the meter game for the next meeting if we end up having to do a virtual meeting again.
Mm-hmm. So this is calling Thread. So here's your string art type program. He sticks with one color, so you don't run with any of the TI color character artifacts. This is again. This is octagon, calling graphic window, window, set to, turn, move, distance. Yeah, all these programs, you always seem to draw a circle the same way. I had it explained to me once that they only draw a quarter of the circle using the sine, cosine, arctangent, whatever routines they're using, and then they duplicate that, rotate it 90 degrees.
Right, rotate it in the direction. It's probably faster to do that.
Yeah, rather than trying to draw an entire circle.
Right. The issue is usually implemented in BASIC, it's not a fixed lookup table. It's actually doing computation to whatever level of precision is possible by the routine. So it's kind of expensive to do it. Whereas if you do, basically run the function for a quarter of the image and just simply mirror the data in the correct direction, it's probably much faster.
Yeah, here's the circle routine, and it's a graphic, a window, and a circle. And then they duplicate that window in different locations. So let's run this one again. We've seen this one already today, but let's run it again. And it does that, it does the initial draw pretty quick. And of course, copying it, it does it super quick. This is a rectangle. Notice they can rotate it.
Yeah, it's actually not too terrible in terms of speed from within BASIC.
Yeah, you don't have a arcade graphic for a spaceship tumbling through space.
Right, but I mean, it's probably, sufficient to paint a background pretty quickly.
This is a different circle. Oh, okay. This is a circle made of circles. Yeah, so I was pretty excited when I loaded these new files that I found for the final ground. And my Mechatronic Extended Basic is on there. I think the Mechatronics demo discs I have some sort of way of running this cartridge as an EA5 file or EA3, and then all these programs can be loaded separate. I don't know if it's actually doing anything or if it's hung up on this. These don't always run. These don't always run perfectly. Sometimes these programs don't run one after the other.
Yeah, I imagine, memory side effects and so forth, that maybe they're not cleanly reinitializing themselves at all points. And in certain behavior, if you want to be able to break and rerun, break, change, and rerun, steady state might be, the preferred mode that you would probably want to some type of initialization command if you specifically want to clear everything and return it to power on default. or initial load default.
Okay. I saw a printer statement earlier here. I don't think I've run this one before. I want to try to turn my printer on. Yeah, I've run into that with some of these discs. I run all the demos in alphabetical order, one after the other. And doggone it, one of them had always crashed. But if that was the first one that I ran, then it was fine. Oh, there we go. This one draws the ApeSoft logo. Okay, I'll try running another disk here. Well, that's the end of the ApeSoft cartridge demo. All sorts of exciting graphics commands. Somebody can put in a program to spice it up. We're going to go back to move the disk from drive 1. Let's do a directory on this. Oh, okay. So just the credits, any load. We'll load boot. So show the directory of disk 1. And then we can view this text file. And it's in Italian. Questo file de stories che scarreo del sito web del TI-99 Italian user code. Sorry about my accent. English. This file has been downloaded from website of the TI-99 Italiana user club. You can download other stuff for the TI-99 4A at the database section of the website. Okay, so this this disk, I changed disks. We'll try running it. Call E8 disk 1. Load. I think this was called Interceptor. Now you see why I had that one menu changed to a black border when you pressed a key, so you would know that something was actually going on. Okay. All right, this is from the Italian Facebook page, and it's called Interceptor, 1983 by Republic Software, and the bird comes along and picks up all the lettering.
But not like your mechanical interceptor, right?
Now, I've never played this before, so it's new for me. Okay, entering clouds, engine on. You wish to use joysticks or keyboard? I'll use the joystick here. Using 4A, alpha lock is up. That's up. Okay, so I sort of run the choice backwards here. Level of difficulty 1 if I'm an expert, 2 if I'm intermediate, or 3 for novice. Usually they have stuff go the other way around, but I'll just press 3 for novice. Okay, it took me a little while to get involved here because this uses a different joystick than the one I had. Okay, there's a little tiny dot on the screen that's the target, and I have to move it, move the joystick to get that dot. Um, uh, oh, okay. Yeah, this is a pretty simple game, very minimal graphics, refueling. I have to line up with the refueling tanker, refuel. I'm back in the combat area. Okay, so you got to get your cursor over the blinking dot. Okay, so you don't want to shoot your buddy. But you got to get him right in the cursor there. Target is enemy. Now I can fire. You don't want to shoot your friends.
Yeah, I want to avoid that collateral damage, I guess.
Well, there's a fun movie on. There's a fun movie on the Internet Archive, archive.org, called "Don't Be a Dilbert," and it actually has the one of the was it the East Side Kids is in that. That was one of those kid gangs, and he plays this character Dilbert, which is a derogatory term for somebody who's worse than the enemy. It's somebody you think is your friend, and he'll wind up shooting you down just because of his carelessness.
Yeah.
And it was played by the actor's name is Hunts Hall, and so it shows a bunch of guys in the. I'm going to break this. Shows a bunch of guys in the airport. Army Air Force airport, and there's a poster that says "Don't be a Dilbert," and they go, "What's a Dilbert?" And then they go into the animation of Hunts Hall shows up, and he's the most careless guy. You never want this guy around an airplane. It's like he doesn't safety his machine guns as he gets out of his fighter craft, and he leaves it parked, pointed towards a bunch of people working on another airplane. So when the mechanic gets in the cockpit and starts to service the plane, the guns go off and shoot the shit out of the other plane and all the people working on it. He also does the thing like arming his weapon to where they push a blank round through the gun to arm it. Well, that empty shell casing has to land somewhere.
Yeah.
So they should fall like 3 miles in a civilian area and kill
Also-
somebody by
Also,
landing
a
on their
stack of
head.
newspapers next to a fuel pump, and
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like the Mr. Wrong that we get in modern service manuals. Okay, so that was intercept or interceptor. Let's run that start screen again. Very minimal graphics, but it's really responsive. It takes a little while to load. You wonder, gee, is anything working with my TI? But it does load, and has a real nice splash screen here, Interceptor 83. And this was from the Italian Facebook page. Yeah, there goes the bird. Sounds of like an engine starting up, an airplane taking off, and it tells you what's going on. Yeah, you might say the graphics are sort of plain, but you know, it's responsive. It doesn't miss. You know, you move the joystick, the on-screen cursor moves. So we have another one here. I'll load up another game here. So you can use the joysticks or the keyboard. There was a delay there on my first demonstration because I had joysticks, and my second joystick was out of sight, and I was playing around going like, why isn't this responding with the joystick I'm using? Not everybody always uses joystick 1, and I think that is for the reason of you would wear out joystick 1 because 95% of the games are single player. Oh, caps up. And let's get P Hunter. See what's on this disk. P Hunter and P Hunter 2. So I don't know what the difference is between them. We'll try running P Hunter. The Planets Hunter. I don't know how well this is showing up. It's got an orange.
not bad. It's a little hot in spots, but it's very readable.
Yeah, it's got the MMG logo in the upper left corner. To the right, it says the MMG Software Presents. Then in purple or blue at the middle, it says Planets Hunter. And then green at the bottom, press any key to begin. And an in out or 2 and 330. Okay, let's see what 330 is. Okay, it's a multi-statement line, which means this is an extended basic. Okay, call color, run disk 1, P Hunter 2. Well, I don't know why it wouldn't run. Call EA, disk 1, P Hunter 2. Okay, that's strange. Huh. What was that again? Okay, P102, 50 sector program. So what's the maximum size for a program file in Extended Basic?
Don't know.
I'll try loading it in Basic. In Basic, it's going to take a while to load. Remember, sometimes I got so vexed where I had programs I typed in from magazines and saved on cassette tape. And then when I got my P-Box and a disk drive, Okay, we're getting garbage in that line, so that's not a basic program. That's how extended basic will show up in basic. Try shut the thing off. P Hunter 2. Well, this shows the graphics. Display at the M logo. Yeah, and here's the last statement. Run disk 1 P102, end quote. And I can't get P102 to load. I got the load, can't get it to run. In-out error 2. Okay, well, there's something wrong with this file. Moving on. Can't get that to run. We're going to try another disk. Remove this one. Okay, we're going to do a catalog of this. Now, this disk goes by the rather strange name of Add Colon. Back in 2014, I discovered our friend Klaus Lukafesk, who runs the one of the European TI user groups, had discovered a cartridge called Advertiser, and it had no PHM number. And when you put the cartridge in the console, it came up as basic. This was intentional. This was a dedicated cartridge for demonstrating the TI-99-4A. And I had some videos of that that I also posted on that disk of Advertiser. And the idea was you put it at a point of sale, and if somebody fools around with the cartridge, they really couldn't mess anything up. So here's add help.
Hey guys, I just wanted to give you an update on Hal.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's having lithium battery technical issues. His hotspot, the lithium battery, decided to explode,
Oh, not so good.
and so that's why he dropped off.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
back after he talked to the library about
Replacing it.
how to get that replaced, but
Yeah, he's out for
may
now.
come back on the hotspot from the phone. But just want to give an update.
Yeah, well, we've got about another 9 or 10 minutes until we're at the 4 o'clock hour.
Okay. I can go a little longer if you want to keep it going or
That's
whatever.
up to Vince. He's the one
No,
that's pretty much
no,
doing
that's
it.
okay. Like I said, I got about 10 years worth of stuff here.
You don't have to do it all starting today, though.
No, no. So anyway, I found Advertiser, and it was a German cart, and it ran these programs I couldn't get anything to run. And Klaus was very nice. where he did a dump of the cartridge, and he said, look at all these new commands that Advertiser has. And then some people speculated that Advertiser might be what the Mechatronic Extended Basic 2 was made with its unique graphics commands. So we're going to reload the Mechatronic Extended Basic here. And let me get my notes here for Advertiser. Okay. Nothing cosmic here, you know, just loose leaf paper. I went through the disk and I cataloged everything. Okay, so it looks like there's a program called Load on here, and it has all the different, and Load is a disk cataloger. So it tells you everything that's on here. So I remember that in one, add help. It said call files 9. Sorry. Then we can do an old disk. Okay, so we're in Mechatronic Extended Basic. We'll do a list here. Advertiser Demonstration Program. Okay, so these are all REMs here at the top. Demonstration program completed this date. Janet Blinge, Texas Instruments, France. First command, call add. All the programs on this disk, that is the first command they have, that just like a Mechatronics XP2, where it was the call ApeSoft, this does a call add. So this will load, but it won't run. Okay, so it's not finding that one. So 100. Let's fool around. Let's try telling it to call ApeSoft. See if we can fool it. Okay, subprogram doesn't run. Okay, we'll quit. Okay, that's the load program, so we'll do a call. Call files 9.
My apologies.
Okay, 100 doesn't work, so we'll just try running this. Okay, so it's going to try to run this without doing the, okay. 3060. Okay, so it's doing a certain command call logo. All right, so it can't do that because that's part of the Advertiser cartridge. Again, this is something I saw since like 2013, and I wasn't able to run it, and it looked like it had all sorts of fantastic graphics in it and such. We had, I did demonstrate the videos that were on the 2013, 2014 discs that were available on the YouTube, and the cartridge looked pretty interesting. One good news is I observed on the Facebook TI-99ers Facebook page that John Guidry has a Ubergram cartridge collection he's been working on, and one of them is Advertiser. So I bet if I contact Jim Fensner, who makes a lot of these cartridges, I can actually purchase an authentic clone advertiser cartridge that will run these programs. Because there's the advertiser, there's one set up for a bank, then for graphics, there's box, demo, graphic, home demo, infographic, all sorts of different commands for it. So it should be easy to actually run this. Maybe by next month I'll have an advertiser cartridge and we can run it. That's about all I got for today. And again, this is the Chicago TI 994A users group. This is May 2nd, 2020. And we're all broadcasting from home. And I'll see you later. John, I guess we could sign off now.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, John, for running the video. And thanks for Vic for doing all the presentations and demos. And hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to meet once again in the library. But if not, we will certainly do a virtual meeting again if that's necessary.
Sounds good. I'm gonna stop the broadcast.
Yeah, we can stay on for after the broadcast if you want to debrief.
Sure.